Welcome back to Grammar Rules. The topic for today is helping verbs. And so here we have some helping verbs separated out into two categories. Not that you need to know what these words primary and modal are, but just to help us organize these words. It's a little easier to recognize if we just try to divide them up a little bit. So what you have on the left side is called the primary helping verbs, and these are basically the forms of here the be verb. These are the am, is, are, was, were, any form of those. And then you have the have verb, has, have, and had, and then the do forms, different forms of the do. These words can function as helping verbs in front of other action verbs. So you can say is working or he does work. Okay, so when you have an action verb afterwards, then these words can function as the helping verb for that action verb. And the ones on the right are called modal, and these are almost always used as helping verbs in front of other actions. They can't be used alone, whereas the primary verbs can be used alone and they can become the main verbs in a sentence. So words like will, shall, should, would, these words, you would always say he would do something, he can do something. They will go together with another action word. So why do you need to know it? Well, when you're analyzing a sentence and you're trying to separate out the subject and the verb and tense and stuff, you need to recognize all the helping verbs together with the main action verb and lump them together and be able to identify it. And so you can tell the mood and the tense and so on with the sentence. So let's look at some sentences here. You have slightly different usages of the verbs, and this is what we want to recognize. Here on the left hand side you have helping verb that says he was working hard, but on the right side you have he was a hard worker. So you have the same word used, was, in both sentences, but they're different. On the left hand side you have was being basically a helper to the main verb working. So this is considered a helping verb in this case. On the right hand side, he was a hard worker. In this case, was is the only verb in the sentence, and this functions as an equal sign, right? This is a linking verb. He equals worker. And so this is the main verb of the sentence. So what's the difference? Well, they look the same to you, but depending on how it's used in that sentence, whether there's an action verb afterwards or not, the same word can be a helping verb, as in this case, and not a helping verb, as in the case on the right. So let's look at the next sentence. He does not work here. Okay, where's your verb? Well, the main verb is work, and then you have the helping verb does. The not is not considered part of the verb. Not is considered an adverb. So we would underline only the does and the work. In the sentence on the right, you have he does all the work here. That's the only verb. So in this case, the action verb on the right side is the do verb. He does or doesn't. That's the action. In the left hand side, it's not about the do or the does. It's about the work. That's the main verb. And the does is only a helping verb for that main action verb.